Am I the asshole for mansplaining my daughter's health to my ex-wife? Throwaway account because my ex-wife follows me on Reddit. So my daughter has been staying with me since she turned 18, but visits my ex-wife a few times a year. She's always been pretty heavy, but not in an unhealthy way. She's 5'10" and weighs over 200 pounds, but a lot of it's muscle. She lifts weights, plays rugby, and runs every week. In my opinion as a personal trainer this is fine. I don't really care how she looks aesthetically, as long as she's fit and healthy, which she absolutely is. My ex-wife and her husband see things differently. They've always been on at her to lose weight and slim down, even though she's quite an impressive athlete. To an extent, I think this is partly out of fat phobia. She's said some horrible things about my current girlfriend's weight. Anyway, under lockdown, my daughter has kept her muscle mass, but also put on some weight, about 10 pounds since January. She still works out every day, but she struggles a bit more with some of the exercises. As far as I'm aware, it's made no real difference to her health. The workout routine she does every day isn't an easy one. I should know. I worked with her on it, and also, there's a pandemic, she's allowed to get a little flabbier. My ex-wife doesn't think so. She sent a long email to me, saying I was being negligent in allowing her to gain weight, and that our daughter was turning into a whale. She told me I needed to tell her to get it together and lose some weight, or that she would have to do it herself. She also sent me a diet plan which she wanted to put my daughter on. She also implied that my girlfriend was a bad influence on our daughter due to her weight. To give full disclosure, I responded like this. Sorry, but you're being a Karen. Everyone I know has had changes in weight during lockdown, so I don't know why you've chosen to single daughter out. She's also well aware that she's gained weight, so I don't know why you think I have to tell her. Daughter is a grown woman, and it's not up to me to put her on diets. Even if it was, the diet you've chosen is ridiculous and insubstantial. It's not designed for someone who lifts weights and works out every day. If I recommended that to a client who was doing as much exercise as she is, I'd be fired. I understand you only want what's best for daughter, but so do I, and I know much more about diet and exercise than you do. Please leave this stuff to me as I'm worried you and new husband could unknowingly do harm to daughter. This, apparently, was not the right thing to say, and she kicked off. Both she and her husband accused me of mansplaining to her, and trying to be the fun parent, rather than the responsible one. My girlfriend and daughter, meanwhile, think I did the right thing. Am I the asshole? I don't think I was mansplaining, as it was genuinely a topic which I am an expert and her husband know nothing, but that could just be me mansplaining what mansplaining is. Not the asshole. Perfect response to a rude ex who is also clearly ignorant of the needs of her daughter. Not the asshole. Am I the asshole? I don't think I was mansplaining, as it was genuinely a topic which I am an expert and her husband know nothing, but that could just be me mansplaining what mansplaining is. Exactly, it isn't. Not the asshole. This is not mansplaining. And she is an adult. Her weight is neither of your business. First off, it's not mansplaining. Taking all other issues out of it for a moment, mansplaining is when a man with less or equal expertise speaks over or for a woman with expertise in the subject. You are the expert here, assuming from post that your profession is dietitian or similar. And it also does not cover having a difference of opinion and arguing it. Your message was firm but polite. Keep pushing back. And you're right, of course. Trying to impose a diet on another adult is ridiculous. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. Thank you so much for protecting your daughter from this awful mindset. It seems totally clear that your ex-wife is only acting out of fat phobia because she clearly doesn't care about the actual workouts she does or her general health, just what she looks like. I would be extra vigilant if I were you, too, that she doesn't try to put her on that diet herself, since you obviously are aware of how absurd it is. I sincerely hope that your daughter has been able to avoid internalizing her mother's beliefs. Thank you, also, for being a trainer who is focusing on health rather than appearance. That's important and sometimes rare. So your child is an adult and this is your ex-wife? You know the ball and chain is off now, right? Can just block her on every level. Your adult daughter can communicate her health-related issues to her mom on her own. Flap your wings, you're free. Not the asshole, and I applaud you for sticking up for your daughter. Not the asshole. You stood up for your daughter. In no way is that mansplaining. Explaining does not equal mansplaining just because you're a man. Even without taking everything else into consideration, her athleticism, the pandemic, etc., she's 18. Her weight is none of anyone's business, and even less so if those people are just concerned about how she looks and not how healthy she is. They handled it poorly, but 210 at 5'10" is obese and will lead to lots of health issues down the line, and you are enabling her. Not the asshole. Your ex sounds like an idiot tbh. Your daughter is an adult anyway. If she wanted to eat McDonald's every day, she has that right. It would be extremely unhealthy, but she is old enough to choose her own diet. And it sounds like she is doing well anyway with her current exercise routine. Lockdown is no excuse to gain weight. I was super morbidly obese, and I made the excuse that it was mostly muscle too. I highly doubt your daughter has 150 pounds of muscle on her. She is obese. She is also an adult, and you cannot control what she eats. Your ex is being a dick by saying you are turning her into a whale, because that sure is not the path to take to explain health to her. She also could be depressed, which is super common right now with 2020. Do not make excuses for her size and justify it, but also stay out of it. She is an adult and can make her own food choices. I do encourage not buying junk food, because no one should be eating crap like that, regardless of weight. Not the asshole. She's conflating mansplaining with patronizing, which may be what she means, but I still don't think you were even doing that. As everyone else has said, you're the expert and she's not. Good for you and your daughter for being firm about her health and well-being. Most definitely not the asshole. My God, you're a personal trainer, for crying out loud. I'm a woman and I don't think you mansplained at all. You just didn't say what she wanted to hear. Too many women worry about the wrong thing when it comes to health, including myself in the past. I've been 5'7" and 130 to 135 for years, but it was only after I quit smoking and drinking Mount Dew 2 months ago and started exercising that I realized I was lacking any strength or endurance. Been working on it ever since. I'd be frustrated as hell if I was watching a scale, cause I'm basically converting all my fat to muscle and therefore weigh about the same as when I started, even though I look vastly different. Freak of nature here, having a midlife crisis during a pandemic. Tears of joy. Not the asshole. You are a personal trainer, you know about nutrition better than your ex. Though 200 pounds is still definitely overweight for someone of your daughter's height, even if it is more muscle than fat. I wouldn't say that losing weight is something she should entirely ignore, but a small calorie deficit while keeping the workout and a sustainable diet could fix that with time and patience, not some of those weird cut-out-everything fake diets you read about in women's magazines your ex clearly seems to be so into. Not the asshole. I will admit I was pretty skeptical about your assessment on your daughter's fitness, as a BMI of 30 plus screams obesity, especially if she isn't rock solid. Why else would her mum be calling her a whale? But I looked it up and found a study on physical fitness of elite female rugby union players done in 2011 that showed the average BMI of women who played competitively was also in the 29 to 30 range, so consider me humbled on the topic. I very much doubt that over 200 pounds for a girl at that height is all muscle. Your ex is insane. I'm sorry. Not the asshole. You answered perfectly, and the main point, your daughter is a grown woman and not a child. She can make her own decisions, and I'm really happy she has you to stand next to. None of what you said was mansplaining, since the term is about when a man tells obvious and basic information to a woman with more knowledge on the subject than he does. You're a personal trainer and this is your field, and she's just a fat-phobic mother that tried to make you do her crazy wishes and got mad when you wouldn't. Not the asshole. Your daughter is an adult and your ex has zero say in this matter. Not the asshole. Your ex and her husband are trying to force an extremely toxic and damaging mindset upon your daughter. Good on you for defending her. Also, you definitely didn't mansplain a thing. This is literally your area of expertise. They just can't handle being wrong and are grasping at straws. So I hate mansplainers. You are not mansplaining. To wit. 1. You actually have expertise in this area too. You know for a fact your ex and her husband do not. 3. You are your daughter's trainer and know what her nutritional needs are. Stand firm. Your daughter knows what she's about. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. Way to go you for sticking up for your daughter. Not the asshole. Your daughter is now legally an adult and parenting regarding diet and weight needs to stop. Ex-wife is super the a-hole, calling your daughter a whale, even if it was just to you. Not the asshole. But your use of the word Karen in this situation is a little cringe. You are the asshole. Your daughter is obese, and not from extra muscle. Your daughter is 18 years old. Honesty, it isn't anyone's business except your daughter's. Not the asshole. Not sure they know what mansplaining is. Not the asshole, but your ex is. Tell her to stop putting her insecurities onto your daughter. If she's not unhealthy, then your ex needs to shut up and leave her alone. She said you were mansplaining because you said she was being a Karen. It's that simple. It was the best counter-insult she had ready to hand. Not the asshole for the extent to which you're right about the situation and she is interfering inappropriately, but it would be better to leave the gendered insults alone next time. Karen doesn't precisely fit this type of inappropriate behavior anyhow. Not the asshole, she's gained 10 pounds during the lockdown. Amateur. That's not what mansplaining is. Not the asshole. Your ex is fatphobic and cares more about how your daughter looks than about her health. Not the asshole. I hate that people use the term mansplaining now to mean, a man said something I didn't like, when it was a useful term specifically coined for a documented phenomena. It was originally used only for when a man assumes he knows more about a topic than a woman and proceeds to lecture her on it, and she is actually an expert, more knowledgeable than him, and he could have found that out by asking a few questions. What you did isn't mansplaining because 1, you're the expert, 2, you know your ex-wife isn't. 3, you weren't really attempting to educate her, just stick up for your daughter, so kudos, you're a good dad. Not the asshole. If your ex were the expert in fitness and diet and the roles here were reversed, then you'd be mansplaining. In this case, your ex is projecting her own issues onto your daughter and trying to overrule someone, you, who actually does know substantially more on the topic. She is in the wrong and needs to step back and keep her body issues to herself. Keep being an awesome dad. Not the asshole. So much not the asshole that your whatever is 180 degrees from a you're an amazing dad and your daughter is lucky to have you. Please continue to buffer her as much as possible from her awful mother. For the record, I am 5 feet 4 inches, 110 pre-pandemic. I also put on 10 pounds. And it's hardly noticeable on me, so it's barely a blip on your kid. She's over 18, and I'm hoping will cut down her interactions with her mother on her own accord. She doesn't need that kind of negativity in her life. Not the asshole. Your ex-wife sounds like a bit of an idiot. She doesn't even use her sexist terms correctly. Well, at least she didn't call you a misogynist. That is some form of silver lining here. Not the asshole. It pisses me off when people boil down terms like mansplaining to mean men saying things I don't like. It ruins the term and will make it a buzzword more than an actual side effect of a patriarchal society, much like how the word trigger has been bastardized. FFS, it isn't mansplaining when it is your profession. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. You sound like a wonderful father who is protecting your daughter from possible eating disorders. And an extra 10 pounds on someone as tall as her is pretty negligible. It's not mansplaining if you are an expert and she's not. I'm glad your daughter's sake that she lives with you and not her mom. Not the asshole. You weren't mansplaining. And I'm so glad your daughter has you on her side. Not the asshole, she's 18. Full stop. Not the asshole. She's a rugby player. She needs that fat and muscle to protect her organs as she plays a very violent sport. No one who actually plays rugby is thin. You would be broken in literal half. The ex needs to hop off, unless she thinks eating disorders are a sexy new diet. You are the asshole. 200 pounds at 5'9" is on the cusp of clinical obesity. Lol at whoever consults you for fitness advice. You're a grown-ass man in the field of fitness calling your wife a Karen for taking a legitimate concern with your daughter's weight? Hold this L clown face. NTA. And coming from someone whose mother also had an unhealthy obsession with my weight. Thank you and heart women's rugby. Not the asshole. That wasn't mansplaining. Your daughter is 18 for God's sake. Your ex needs to chill TFO and let your daughter live her life. No wonder your daughter chooses to not live with her. Your ex sounds toxic. You're in the right. Not the asshole. Your thankfully ex-wife is deluded. Everyone has gained a couple of lbs during lockdown. I'm betting she has too. But the fact is kiddo is an adult, and what she has suggested would be a crime. You cannot control another adult in such a way without everyone pointing out its domestic violence. Holy shit. Not the asshole. My girlfriend 18 has an extremely similar body type, as she plays soccer and exercises quite a bit. She is very insecure about her weight, because she doesn't conform to the slim beauty standard. Personally, I'd be surprised if your daughter didn't gain a little weight over lockdown. You're looking out for your daughter's self-esteem and mental health, while your ex only seems to care about what other people think of her and her daughter. Not the asshole. Your response was perfect. Your daughter is an adult. Her weight is no one else's business besides her own and her physician. I think it's awesome you had her back and you're obviously an amazing, supportive dad. Not the asshole. Your daughter thinks you did the right thing. Her mom and stepdad sound like fun. Not the asshole. And now she's 18. Your daughter is free to move in with you full-time and get out of that toxic atmosphere. I really hate it when strong women are vilified for their bodies. Not the asshole. Not mansplaining. You're having your daughter's back. Not the asshole. Your daughter is over 18, just ignore your ex.